guys, it's Kiera. Welcome back to another video. And today we are talking about why you struggle with being consistent in creating content. Now, I know content has become a really big thing over like the past couple years. Like every time you see something on social media, it's always content, 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 content. All the type of point of views you need for your videos, or the editing style, or captions, or whatever you may see. Like I'm sure if you scroll on TikTok or Instagram, it's going to be some type of information about how you can make your content better, right? And I feel like that can be overwhelming, especially if you don't one know what to do, or because or with all the information coming at you, it could be just too much to handle, or feel like you don't have enough to do it. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case. So the first reason why people are inconsistent with creating their content is because of poor planning. And now what I mean by this is, I know you've seen on social media where people's like, oh, you need to post 5 times a week, 3 times a week, 6 times a week, every day. You need to do 30 days nonstop posting content, like no excuse, woo woo woo, like going crazy, right? Um, See, the problem is I feel like people try to keep up with what the experts say, the gurus say, instead of doing what they can do in their capacity. When I say poor planning, it's really about what you can do in your capacity, right? So think of it like this. If you have a 9 to 5, or if you have kids, or a wife, have a social life, you have to sit down and ask yourself, what do you have the capacity to do? Can you create 5 posts a week for your business, or can you create 2 posts a week for your business? Because that's really essential. Or like part of the reason why you're not consistent or you can't keep up is because you're trying to do everything that the gurus say, and like you have to figure out what you can do within your capacity in this current season you're in, right? So that's the first thing. And if you feel like you can do 2, I want you to challenge yourself to do one more, 3, just so you can push yourself past your comfort zone. Because I feel like most people will probably do something that they're comfortable with doing than what they know they can do. So if you say 2, it's 3. If you say 4, I might let you say a 4. If you say 5, 6, you're good. You don't need to do any more. But like that 1 to 2 range, challenge yourself to at least do 3. If it's 3, challenge yourself to at least do 4. Even if it's 4, challenge yourself to do 5. It don't have to be every week, but maybe every other week. Um, so yeah. So like once you identify what you can do, how many posts you can keep up with and consistently create a week, now you need to think about, okay, when do I have the time to do this? I feel like most people, if you're like not a planner, or you don't have organization or structure in your life, they kind of just like do it on the whim, like, oh, you know what, let me create this content, I need to do it on Saturday, like let me plan to do it on Saturday. And sometimes that doesn't work. You get to Saturday and then it's just like something happens or you don't want to do it. So schedule out time within your week to create this content. Um, if you have the 9 to 5, it might have to be after your 9 to 5 or before your 9 to 5, or a day of or a day on the weekend. Can you create content weekly, or do you have to be batch create content one time a month, or take 2 days out of the month to batch create content? So that's going to be something for you to really think about. Like one, what can you do within your capacity in this season, and then 2, when do you have the time to dedicate and within your schedule to create this content? The second reason why most people are inconsistent with creating content is overthinking. And I think that's a really big one within the social media content creation industry. Is overthinking. Overthinking your posts, feeling like it's not enough, feeling like you have to get certain type of angles or have catchy phrases or an aesthetic place in order to create the content. And like honestly, you just have to start and do it. I struggle with overthinking, and like recently, I realized that the more you overthink is going to cause delay, and like you continue to like overthink these things and then end up doing nothing while watching your peers around you elevate with their content, or their business or whatever it is that they're doing. So just start and do it now. Put it out there, because as you grow and as you continue to put the content out there, you'll learn how to make better content. You can only learn how to make better content by putting it out there. But if you keep overthinking and feeling like this content isn't enough, or you feel like you have to redo it, or whatever reason you feel like it may not be good to put out there, you're not going to grow, you're not going to evolve, you're not going to get to the place where you feel like you want to be, and that that you can be. So stop overthinking. And there's a lot of talk about how a lot of people get stuck between the ideation phase and the execution phase. But I also feel like people get stuck in that phase, like between ideation and execution, is not only because of overthinking, but because they lack a system. And that goes into like my next point. Another reason why you don't consistently create content is because you lack a workflow, you lack a system. Now that you planned and you know what you could do, you know how many posts you can post, you know the time in your schedule that you can block out to create these posts. Now you need a game plan of how you're going to get this out. So basically having a system, a workflow, whatever you want to call it, for your for your content is basically the game plan of how you're going to get this out, how you're going to get it done, how you're going to execute it. This is really big because I feel like a lot of people can get overwhelmed with like recording, writing captions, or editing, and just get just the whole process of it. And sometimes you just have to break it down. Now, I'll give you guys my workflow process for like when I post on social media. So, like the first day, I'm blocking out like 2 hours to market research, look at my analytics, write down content ideas, and write down my goals that I want to focus on for my upcoming content strategy. And then day two, I am writing the captions and mapping out like my creative directions for my videos if I want to do something like cool or fancy or whatever. And for that day two, I usually block out 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours, because like one, like writing captions for me can be tedious because I'm like putting a lot of information down. So like, I'm just like getting out my thoughts, trying to make sure it sounds right, make sure everything sounds cohesive, everything flows. I block out like 5 hours for that, for my day, for day two. Now, day three is my filming day. I use that to film my content. That usually takes me about 3 hours, depending on what I do. It doesn't really take long. And day four, I use it for editing, graphic creation, and scheduling my content. And that usually takes me probably about 5 hours. So like depending on how I feel, my content process is like 3 days or 4 days, but depending on what is going on in my schedule that week, like it may be 4 days. Like I'll do filming one day and then save the rest, like graphic creation, editing, and scheduling out my content on the fourth day. So like it's going to be really important for you to figure out like, okay, can I create everything within one day, 1 to 2 days over the weekend? Like, can I create a whole bunch of like 30 posts, 20 posts for the whole month between 2 days? Or do I need to break it up into days in order for me to get that done? Because sometimes breaking up the content, I know like there's these things out here like, oh, get 30 days worth of content done in a day, or get 30 captions done in a day, but like sometimes that can be very overwhelming. So like also, you don't want to overwhelm yourself or stress yourself out with creating content, because like creating content is something in itself, right? So like really be mindful, like, okay, do I need to break my content up into days, or can I just do it within 1 or 2 days? That's going to be really important. And then If you like, you can take my strategy of how I batch and record my content, like breaking it down into days and like blocking out certain amount of hours in your schedule to do it. And then like the last thing, and I feel like probably the biggest thing. Now I know I said this is the biggest thing like twice now, but like I feel like this is really the biggest thing. And it kind of goes back to my first point is the lack of desire to create content. I feel like there's been this whole saying around like and just in the social media community, like creating content isn't fun anymore. And you're absolutely right. It's not fun anymore. I feel like all the experts and gurus and stuff suck the fun out of it. It's like all strategy, blah 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 blah. All this stuff, and it's just like, dang, girl, can like I post the content and it just be cute and we just vibe out? Like, come on. But no, so I understand the lack of desire to create content, and there's not a lack of desire only because of what like the experts and the gurus are saying, right? It's also a lack of desire because like you have to do all this content on top of all the other businesses you have and stuff you have going on in your life, and it's just like this is another thing added onto your list, onto your pile that you don't necessarily want to deal with, nor do you necessarily want to have the time to deal with too. So I can get why you don't have the desire, but like what I will say is think about who you're serving, think about who you want to impact and do what you can do within your capacity in this season. Like, don't get so caught up in what the gurus say. Don't get me wrong, like what they say is like some things they say are helpful, but like don't take everything for face value. Like, not every advice is meant for you to take. And going back to what I said at the beginning, figure out what you can do in your capacity and find and schedule the time out in your schedule to create that content. Because at the end of the day, like it's all about who you're reaching and who you're impacting. When you think about your why, like and why you're doing this business, I really hope that kind of shifts your heart. You know, kind of makes you want to try again because it's like, dang, like I do want to reach out to these people and stuff like that. I do want to impact them. I do want them to, have whatever service or product I'm offering them. So keep that in mind. I know social media isn't glamorous right now. It's just more stress than fun, but stay the course and do what you can do within your capacity. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Any questions you may have in the comments, and I will talk to you guys later. Oh yeah, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is new, guys. I'm still trying to get in the groove of this. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.